Alright, ready to move on to our final topic of the night?
Yeah.
Alright, so my fanboy ass is about to lay down some knowledge when it comes to the works of Hiro Mashima. I'm talking Rave Master, I'm talking Fairy Tail, and I'm talking Eden Zero. Do you know anything about any of these series?
I know, like, a little bit of Fairy Tale, but not that much.
Alright, so when it comes to a lot of mangaka, their goal mostly usually is to be very much like Akira Toriyama. Have this breakout series that gets really popular, does, you know, at the very least as well as his did. That's all you can really hope for. The thing about a lot of mangaka is it's very rare that they ever have more than one solid series. If you're lucky, you have one, maybe two good series. Hiromashima, on the other hand, just seems to generate successful projects every turn. And now, this isn't me saying that they're always the best around. Don't get me wrong. Like, they have their faults, they have their flaws. His first big work, Rave Master, one of my all-time favorite series. Just, it was a solid adventure series, guy versus the forces of evil. It was one that came in, did what it needed to do, didn't stick around too long. When Hiro Mashima was coming up with the concept of it, he had an endpoint he wanted, but then by the time he got to that endpoint, he kind of just kept it going. And it was only around from 1999 to 2005. Not too long, 6 years, but that's a decent amount of time. And then he created a smaller series called Monster Soul. Didn't really get too popular, but it was a pretty fun series. Only lasted a couple of years, only had 2 volumes as a whole. Decent series. And then came Fairy Tail. What have you heard about Fairy Tail, my friend?
Facts about a few of the characters from Death Battle. I know about Natsu, Ezra. At least I think that's Ezra. The red-haired chick.
Close enough.
And there's like this one dude who like looks like super evil or whatever, but he's got like this one chick who is like, she's very tiny, but she loves him and he loves her, I guess. Listen, I told you I don't know very much, and that is about the extent of what I know.
That's fine. That's all you know in terms of characters. What have you heard about the series, though?
I know that they are mages, and they dabble in magic. It's kind of a Naruto thing, but not really.
Close enough. Now, the series as a whole is kind of like Naruto in the fact that magic is a very widespread thing. A lot of people use it. They have jobs, they work in guilds, they go about missions and stuff like that. But it's also very similar to One Piece to a certain degree. And I mostly mean that in the fact that the main characters are people who find themselves in various different circumstances and situations where they're battling against these evil guys who are trying to take over, and the main character tends to very much dominate a lot of the main villains a lot of the time. And honestly speaking, I remember it wasn't that long ago, a friend of mine at work had said that he fell out of One Piece because Luffy had been getting his ass kicked a few too many times for his life. I was just like, so you just want him to win all the time? It was just like, I mean, not so much, but he just felt that Luffy was being defeated a few too many times. And I realized what he wanted was essentially Fairy Tail. One where, while the main character Natsu does struggle from time to time, there's always a power-up. There's always a special ability that he's given. There's always some, I guess you could call
Way
it,
for him to come out on top.
a Deus Ex Machina, more or less. And
Okay.
sometimes that rubs people the wrong way. Sometimes it's actually pretty interesting because it's just like, a little bit of help coming from somebody to give you enough of a boost of power so that you're able to defeat the villain. And,
That's some plot armor.
yeah, it tends to feel that way a lot of times, especially like halfway through the series. It starts to kind of feel like, oh, okay, our hero can kind of do no wrong in a lot of situations. But for the most part, the series is pretty good. I didn't realize how popular this series was until I had one day gone to a convention after, a few years of the anime being out, and I've come to found out that a lot of people really loved Fairy Tail. Like, a lot of people. And I was kind of shocked because I'm just like, it's good, but I didn't think it was popular. No, apparently, it's stupid popular, almost on the low key, but it's really pretty damn popular. And it was with that realization.
I've seen a lot of Fairy Tail merch
Yes.
in stores. Sorry to cut you off, but like that was one of the biggest indicators that Fairy Tail was a popular series to me. It's just it like many other things. I just have never cared enough to actively like sit down and watch. I'm sure I'd enjoy it, and I'm sure it'd be good. It's just I'm a lazy ass.
No, it's perfectly fine. Hell, it's much like why some people just haven't got around to checking out One Piece in a lot of situations. Just not really something that they're that invested on getting around to checking out in a lot of situations. Or it's just like, oh, it's too
It's just
long and well, blah blah blah. We've talked about this already.
yeah.
But Fairy Tail ran for 11 years, ended in 2017, and there were other series that Mashima had worked on, and that was kind of the thing. Hiro Mashima has a tendency to work on multiple chapters, because sometimes this man will crank out 2, and on one occasion, 3 chapters within the span of a week.
3 chapters in a week.
Yes.
Shit.
Yes. Or he's working on a side project as well as he was working on Fairy Tail, because between 2006 to 2017, he also put out a Monster Hunter series called Monster Hunter Orage that ran from 2008 to 2009 and had 4 volumes. And he also worked on a side series to Fairy Tail called Fairy Tail Zero from 2014 to 2015. This man tends to be busy, and the only bit of downtime he's ever had was after Fairy Tail came to an end in 2017. And then this fucker, because with Fairy Tail, he admits to writing it by the seat of his pants. He would always just do something for the sake of, oh, it seems like it would be cool, or the fans seem to want it, so I'll just do that. So with Rave Master, he kind of had a plan. Fairy Tail, he had no fucking plan. Still kind of ended out pretty good. It had a pretty solid ending. It's just some of the stuff towards the later half got a little wonky.
Wonky like how?
I mostly have already gone over it. It's just the heroes don't tend to be in any real challenging situation.
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah, but
they basically always have their Deus Ex Machina that will save the day no matter what. Like they don't have that struggle, that failure that we see in One Piece more often. I get you.
Yeah, sometimes they lose, but it's not a long-lasting one. They tend to get their payback pretty quickly. But, the series had its ups and its downs. And then Hiro Mashima put out in 2018 not 1, but 2 projects. We had Eden Zero, a series that he said that he planned from beginning to end. He knows exactly where he's going and how it's going to develop and where it's going to go. As well as Fairy Tail The 100 Years Quest, which was a direct follow-up to Fairy Tail that picks up exactly where the manga left off, with him mostly just doing the outlines, but one of his assistants works on most of the artwork. But he's not only doing that, he's also developed another side series just briefly called Mashima's Heroes, which was a short-lived manga that had the main characters of Rave Master, Eden Zero, and Fairy Tail come together for a bit of a mission. And
Oh.
and that was actually pretty popular. A lot of people really kind of enjoyed it. And now, with Eden Zero having had its anime adaptation released about less than a year ago, earlier this year I would say, it has recently been announced that Fairy Tail The 100 Years Quest is going to have an anime adaptation as well.
Damn, it really sounds like he just makes gold whenever he writes a series.
And not only that, this man is also working with Square Enix to develop a video game. He's doing a lot of the character designs and might be working on the story as well.
Huh.
Now,
This sounds kind of fire.
now, why I bring up so much of this is, and why I talked about Akira Toriyama before, is the fact that most mangaka don't live the life Akira Toriyama did, where he had one popular series, Arale, and then another really popular series, Dragon Ball, and then has just been kind of banking off of that ever since Dragon Ball ended. Hiro Mashima, on the other hand, seems to be Akira Toriyama times 2 to a certain degree, with all the works he just keeps cranking out that end up being a fair bit popular, as well as also doing what Akira Toriyama did in designing characters and stuff for video games. And I'm just like, this man is living, honestly, the mangaka dream for the most part. And I have to wonder, what demon did he sell his soul to that he's able to produce so much?
I mean, God, I can only imagine what goes on in his life. Like, he's either using this as a coping mechanism, or he is just so fucking happy that he can produce at this kind of level. I don't know what it is, but if it's the latter, I really am happy for him. It's the former, I hope he's going to be okay.
I don't know what it is, but this man has just cranked out products since 1999. He has never really stopped. And I remember one author comment he made to I forget who it was, but it was a mangaka who had started working on one other project. And he said something in the vein of, pace yourself, make sure that you have people at your staff working with you, helping you out. Like, he was giving advice like a man who has been through a lot of shit, but has learned how to organize his time to the utmost. And I have to admit, I am stupid amounts of envious, but also want nothing to do with that kind of life, because how he is not dead at this point is anyone's guess.
Kind of hard to tell.
It just really does kill me, because, you know, Fairy Tail really did become this weird juggernaut. And, you know, for all its ups and downs, where it starts off very much akin to kind of like a almost Naruto One Piece hybrid, the ending is almost evocative of Full Metal Alchemist and the way that manga ended. I'm not saying it's on the same level, but there are a lot of plot beats and interesting connections that come out that I feel pretty confident in how I phrase that it really does just show just how capable this man is in terms of crafting a story. And just, he's great at...
So I assume... I was going to say, I assume you mean that when it comes to the ending, everything kind of gets a resolution on it that is, for all intents and purposes, satisfactory.
Yes. That really was the saving grace.
Okay.
And
I can fuck with that.
yeah, and it it really does strike me because I'm only talking about this because it was only just yesterday that the Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest anime was announced. And I was just so blown away because for the longest time I was just like, well, it's a spin-off manga. You don't always get anime adaptations of that. And it's like bi-weekly, which is still like he's overseeing so much at this point that it's just unthinkable that like I don't think I could even remotely be in a point in my life where I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna draw this one manga, but also oversee and do small sketches for this other manga while also designing characters for this video game. And it's just like it puts any kind of work ethic that I could ever think to have to shame. And I want to find the demon that he sold his soul to and be like, let's make a deal. I want this.
You gotta get on his level, man.
Uh,
You start in order to do that, but you gotta start somewhere. I said myself immediately.
and I just, anybody could say that his series aren't the best. They aren't like anything groundbreaking. But at the same time, it gets people invested. This man has, like, one person I follow said it best. He is a master of hype. He gets you immediately invested in whatever story he starts writing. It's just that the payoff is sometimes not always the best, but assholes get punched in the face at the end of the day, so it's hard to complain with the results.
Exactly. I can fuck with that. I like that. I mean, I have to imagine he's just writing the stuff that he enjoys writing. And you said it already. When it came to Fairy Tail, he was doing stuff up to a certain point that he just figured the fans would want. And I can fuck with that too. Personally, I should be writing more stuff. In general, but if I was, I'd mostly just consider the stuff I want to do. So I give him props for at least considering what the fans might like.
It's just, I don't know. I had to just get out some of my feelings about this man and his work, and just how you just don't see mangaka put in the level of effort he does, mostly because it seems highly unhealthy in a lot of ways, I'm gonna be honest. But he always seems to just do it. I've never seen a situation where he missed a deadline, and even if he did, it's like he all of a sudden comes out with 2 chapters or more just for the fuck of it. I will never forget the one time in the span of a month he managed to put out about it was 3 chapters one week, 2 chapters another, 2 chapters another week, and then 1 chapter. And I'm just like, what? How? Are you just doing it in your spare time now? What's going on, man? Like,
I mean, he very well might be. It's just like, fuck it. I am struck with inspiration, and he's just like, fuck it. Let me just really roll with it. I get that. Sometimes inspiration hits you, and you just want to make the most of it. And it sounds like he does. I mean, damn. Fuck. 3, 2, 3. No, it was like 3 chapters and 2, then 1. Was that it?
Pretty much. And I didn't know what to think of it because I remember at the time it was just like, where do you find the time for all of this? How? Like, it is. I have to wonder how many people he has helping him, because I've heard he has a whole entire team behind him when it comes to a lot of this shit. But it's just like he's just consistently working, and on a level that you don't see for a lot of other people who have put out manga that are half as successful as his. And he just keeps putting out work, and I'm just like, you really must love what you do, because you've always been doing it. And like, shit, even when he's gone to conventions out in America, he still manages to get his shit out on time. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's just some next level people out there, and I'm fascinated. I would love to know about more people who are like this, but at the same time, it feels like if I did know, I'd be like, please stop. You're gonna die. Please don't. But yeah, that's all I really had to say. I think it might be.
It sounds like
Hmm?
it sounds like he's taking the advice of if you love something, let it kill you to heart.
Most definitely at this point.
Hey man, though, I worry about Oda's health sometimes. I mean, like, okay, this year he has definitely been taking a lot of breaks, which, yeah, I can understand why. But at the same time, it's like, dude, he's been putting out shit consistently. Like, God, all these fucking panels in Wano. It's, art! Art!
And it's also sadly funny, too, because when it came to the creator of Naruto, he tried to do a follow-up series to Naruto that was sci-fi and all about this pseudoscience, basically science so advanced it equals out to magic, and it got to about 40 volumes and that shit got canceled, and honestly, the writing was on the wall that thing was not going to survive with the way he was writing that.
Really?
Yeah, Samurai 7 was not a very well received series. Even with the creator of Naruto being at the helm. Hell, I feel like the fact that it got 40 chapters was only because of his name alone. But then you have the creator of Fairy Tail, who had one fantasy series, then went into another fantasy series that was even deeper into the fantasy, and then he's just like, okay, now I'm doing a sci-fi fantasy series, and yeah, popular Netflix anime series, doing really well, and I'm just like most people can't pull that shit off. At most, you're lucky if you get 2 popular series. Fuck. Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter, and Togashi was done. We ain't seeing Hunter x Hunter again. That shit's done. We're in denial about that shit ever coming back. I'm just at a loss. If Eden Zero comes to an end and this man manages to put out another series that ends up popular, I don't even know what to think at that point. It's just this man has the Midas touch when it comes to manga, and we should all be wishing we were on his level. Because nobody is able to pull things off to that degree. I'm sucking his dick pretty hard, but I'm more impressed by his work ethic than his actual product at this point. And I still love his product.
I mean, it does sound like he has a very impressive work ethic, so, I understand why you admire it, because, shit, if I could do half that, god damn, do you know how much I'd accomplish if I could just do half that?
God, I don't even know what to think. It just, I wanted to be him even when he only had the one good series, and now he has 3 well-received series that I'm still hoping that they put out a revival of his original series, Rave Master, in anime form, but it's impossible to tell at this point. All I know is that good mangaka should be celebrated. A lot of hard work he puts into it. I wish him a healthy life. And that he always be capable of doing the thing that he loves. Alright, I think it's time to wrap things up. What do you think?
I agree.
Alright. I want to thank everyone for listening to us ramble, specifically me, during this segment of Talking 2D. It occurs every Sunday at about 8 o'clock if you're going for live streams, or if you're looking for recordings. I usually try to have them uploaded by Monday, Tuesday, whenever, but we love talking about our anime, our manga, our comic books, movies, cartoons, what have you, as long as it's 2D inspired or even just a work of 2D, a spin-off of 2D. We love it. We love you. And we will see you next time. I've been Duuz-Diz-Din here with my co-host.
The man with the iron giblets.
And we will see you next time. Same 2D channel, same 2D time. Bye-bye.